Hey guys, it's Marty, and welcome to Two Line Slot Cars. I've had a lot of questions from guys asking, what should I expect the first time I ever walk into a commercial track? And a few weeks ago, my brother and John Mark and I, we visited Cincy Slots in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a great commercial track. They run analog and digital classes. Great bunch of guys. We just had a great time. I mentioned in one of my videos that I learned probably more in those 2.5, 3 hours than I have in the last 6 months. And so a lot of you asked me questions about what did I learn. I came up with a list of what to expect when you go to a commercial track for the first time. Or maybe it's a list of 10 things that I would recommend that you do the first time you step foot at a commercial track on a race night. I think rule number one is go to the track's website, read the rules before you even show up. Have a great understanding of what classes that they run, what their expectations are for tech for the cars. I mean, you show up with this car, and this is probably an LMP class. This is a MR slot car, Ferrari 333. And they're running vintage, or they're running Group C, or they're running some other class, like Group 5, which is what they were running at Cincy Slots. I don't own a Group 5 car. So I rolled in not able to race the first night. So I think it's important that you understand the rules of the track, the rules of how they manage a race night. So do they have heats and a feature? Do they have 2 4-minute races in each lane? Or if there's 6 lanes, do you race all 6 lanes and it's a total laps? Understand the rules, understand how they manage a race night so that you walk in and you have a good understanding of what to expect from that track. Now, every track is going to be different. Every track has different rules. Some run non-magnets, some run magnets, some have a magnet marshal where they test your car to see how much magnetic downforce that it has, and they have a limit on that. So know going in, if you plan to race that first night that you walk into that track, be prepared and ready with your car and understand the rules. Now, there are some rules that are unwritten. You will only know that once you show up. So you sort of have to be attentive to what's going on in the room, right? Be one of those guys that can read the room. Walk in, figure out what's going on, ask some questions. Going to a commercial track can be super intimidating. Some tracks don't have mandates where people have to keep their cool, but the one thing at Cincy Slots is everybody really kept their cool. It wasn't a super intense environment. And I think that that's important for you to find, especially as a beginner slot car racer, is find an environment that's not intimidating. So maybe what you do is you come prepared to not race. And so that's my second point. So prepare to show up at the track and not race. But what will probably happen is if you come in and you're prepared to not race, just to take the whole evening in and watch what's happening, more than likely there's going to be a few drivers out there that show up with extra cars. There are guys that are really good at tuning cars, and there are guys that really want to see the hobby progress. They really want people to have a great experience, and so they have some loaner cars, and they let people race them. And that's what happened to us the first night. My brother and I, we got to race because our new friend Daryl, he had 4 or 5 cars tuned, ready to roll for Group 5, right? So we didn't come with cars. Our plan was just to watch. He was going to have none of that. He wanted us to have fun. And man, I am so, so thankful that he did that because it made for a great night. But I won't lie, I was intimidated because I didn't know what I was really walking into. So just be prepared to maybe you won't race, and that's okay the first night. Maybe you just take it all in and see what happens. Or maybe you find a friend like Daryl who will loan you a car and you can get some laps in. Number 3, the environment is only as intimidating as you allow it to be, right? So if you walk in super scared, it's probably going to feel like that most of the evening. So I think that your attitude that you bring to the table, that you walk into the track, is super important. And I think that you have confidence I mean, you are a person that's put, thousands of laps in on your own track at home, and now you're trying to test your skills by going out to a commercial track. Maybe you don't have a track at home, and maybe you've always been at a commercial track. That sort of takes the intimidation away, right? But we're talking about the first time that you step in to a commercial track as a first time going to a race. These guys, 99% of them are going to be super helpful, and they're going to want you there because they want more competition, right? They want people to push them to race better, right? And how's that going to happen if they don't help out, right? So you'll find that most people at the track are willing to help you, to answer questions. So don't be intimidated. That brings me to number 4. Ask questions. Ask people, how does the race night progress? Like, how many races are there? Is it by time? Is it by place? Is it by laps, lap count? Discover how they manage a race night so that you know how the evening will flow. But ask questions. Ask people what type of tires they're using. Ask people what cars they're using, what brands they're using for this class. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's the only way you'll learn. I guarantee you that most people, you will find the people who are willing to answer questions and that will be super helpful right off the bat. They will gravitate towards you because they want beginners. They want new people to walk into the shop, into the track, and have a great time because they want to see the club grow. Okay, there's that 1% of people who won't share information. They won't tell you what they have. Those are the super competitive guys. I think that there's an opportunity to ask lots of questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I will tell you, my personality, I have a lot of pride, and it's tough for me to ask questions. But that first night, I was asking a million questions because I wanted to make sure when I left that night, I knew all I needed to know for the night that I came back to race my own car, what's available to me at the track to borrow if I don't have a controller, if I don't have, don't be afraid to ask people, hey, can I borrow your controller? They'll either say yes or they'll say no, right? But a lot of times the tracks will have loaner controllers to get you through the races. Number 5, watch practice. Participate in practice. If you brought a car that meets the rules and regulations of that race that night, get on the track, put in some laps, find out where your braking zone is, find out where your brake points are, where you can accelerate, where you can pick up time on the track. But I guarantee you will learn as much watching other people practice as you will putting in laps yourself. Start watching practice with the intent to get better. Watch practice with the intent to learn more because you can watch and learn a lot in practice. We got there early that Thursday night for the races, probably about an hour and a half before. Got on the track and got to put some laps in with a lot of different cars, which was a lot of fun. I was watching other people practice because I wanted to see who was fast, who were good drivers, and then you learn from them. So watch practice, super important. Number 6, marshal races. You're there. Best thing you can do as a newbie in the hobby, as the first time being at the track, go marshal races. 1, you learn where people come off of the track. It's really important to know where the trouble spots are, and if you're marshaling, you will find those out really fast. You'll see what curves are tough for people, where a lot of cars come off the track, and you're watching intently. You're watching a race. You're learning things. That's why it's important to marshal. So not only is it important to practice, important to race, it's important to marshal. And I guarantee you that guys at the track, they will appreciate you as a beginner if you're willing to marshal a race. Get out there. You can learn a lot from marshaling a race. Number 7, you probably will not win. I can almost guarantee, unless you are the GOAT, that you probably are not going to win the race. Kind of take that out of your mind and take that pressure off of you. You don't need that kind of pressure on your first night at a race. So just get that out of your head right now. You're not going to win the race, and that's okay. But you're going to learn a lot. And that's why you're there the first night. You're there to get past the anxiety of being your first time. So just go to do your best, right? Learn the track, get faster each lap, put laps in, come out of the slot less. Give yourself achievable goals on your first night at the track. I think that's important. Number 8, be in a mindset to learn. I think the whole experience about going the first night and the 10th night of a race at a particular club, you always should be learning. You should always be figuring out how to make your car go faster, how to drive better, how to brake better, how to accelerate better, all those things, how to even marshal better. Those are all important things. So just be in a mindset and willing to learn, because there will be people that will want to share information with you, and you should be a sponge and take it all in. And then you can decide what was good advice, what was bad advice, sure. But I think you're there to learn that first night, even probably the first 10 nights that you go to a track. So that's my plan, and I think that should be your plan too. Okay, number nine, I think, is really, really important. So during the races, whether you're marshaling or you're just watching, watch the fast guys. Watch what they do. Watch what kind of cars they drive, what brands in that particular class. Look at what kind of controller they use. How do they manage their tires? You're probably not going to get to look inside their car to see how they tuned and put weight in and things like that, but they might share that information with you. There's ways to learn that information, but watch the fast guys. Watch how they handle their car. Watch how they enter a turn, how they drive, how they power out of a turn, where those acceleration points are and where those braking points are, and then kind of get an idea of how much brake do they use. I mean, how do they have their controller tuned? Because I think that's really important. I learned that in the first night is the controller really can help you get through a turn faster, to stay on the accelerator just a touch longer going into a turn. Watch the fast guys. You will learn a lot from them, and then maybe one day you'll be fast too. And then number 10, if you're going to show up to a commercial track for the first time, come prepared to have fun. That's why we do this hobby, is it's fun. I love being at my track and racing my brother and racing John Mark. I'm racing my nephews and my daughters when they're here. The friendly competition is so much fun. We laugh, we make fun of each other, we trash talk each other. I mean, all that goes into it. If you can be comfortable around people and have that type of environment where it's a safe environment for new people to show up, it's an environment where people can come learn, and it's an environment that people can come find support. That's all super important. But in the end, it's about having fun. That is what you should expect when you walk into a commercial track. Now, I can't guarantee that every track is going to be like that. You could walk into the USA Nationals at Electric Dreams, the big slotted race they had last year. Well, you could walk in this year. That's probably not a wise place to be for your first race, right? That environment's going to be super intimidating. There's probably a lot of guys that are probably not going to share all their speed secrets that night with you. Now, after the race, maybe they'll share how they set their car up. They're there to win. That's some serious racing. At your local club, it can still be serious racing, but it can be a lot of fun. And I think that that's where most track owners want to be, or club owners want to be, is they want to be a fun environment so that people continue to come back. Because if people don't come back, then they can't stay open. And we've seen slot car tracks all over the country open and close over the years. And it's important that we create a safe environment for people, that they don't feel intimidated. They can come learn, and they can come have fun. Guys, if you like this kind of content, and if this information was helpful, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you get notified anytime I put new content out. And, go have fun. Don't be intimidated to show up at the track. Go have a lot of fun. Go learn a ton. Go watch the fast guys and see how you can get faster. Learn how to tune a car, but know the rules. Come in prepared, but just understand that you're probably not going to win, and that's okay. That is okay. Hope you enjoyed this. Go have some fun racing.